Hello Year 7, it is that time again. So week 3 we're looking at still life and you can draw absolutely anything you like. I recommend that you draw between 4 and 6 objects. I've gone for 4, technically 5 if we're counting both knitting needles. And maybe you could think of a certain theme. Maybe it's a collection of foods, although we did fruit bowls last week, so maybe not. Maybe it's a collection of your favourite objects or objects that describe you, okay? Think about the composition, so how are you going to lay them out? Don't just put them in a row because that's quite dull. Think about ways that you can overlap them slightly. A little bit like I have by putting the wool inside of this pot. Now I didn't come up with this straight away, I tried about 3 or 4 different layouts first before I settled on this one. However, I've been talking for way too long, so let's just get started and I can't wait to see all the drawings that you do this week. So I'm just starting off with some really basic shapes. I know that this pot here is curved at the bottom, but for now I'm just drawing a really basic cylinder. I'll add the curve in later. Right now I just want to check that my drawing is actually going to fit on the page. I've just seen that this mug sits a little bit lower because it's slightly closer to me, so I'll draw it lower down on the page. And I can only just see the handle of it there, although because the camera isn't where my head is, you might see it slightly differently to me. And from here I can see that the end of the knitting needle is lined up quite nicely with the edge of the mug, so that's helped me draw it onto my page. Again, no detail, just really basic shapes. And now I can see that actually, even though this drawing looked quite daunting at first, it's just lots of cylinders that I need to add tone to. So it's really important to think about proportion and composition, which is your layout now. I've just realised that I've drawn the mug and the pot not even touching, when actually they're touching completely down this side and I've drawn a gap, so I'm going to have to rub that out now and draw it in again. So spend about 10 to 15 minutes now just drawing the outlines, or the basic shapes even, not even the outlines, of the objects that you've got on your table now. So now I've got my basic shapes, I'm just going to start adding in detail and making those shapes a little bit more accurate. So for example, we know this isn't a cylinder, it curves at the bottom, so we need to change that. So I'll put a curved bottom in there. And I'm going to draw this piece of wool that I had coming out just to make my composition a little bit more interesting. Okay, and it's at this point you want to get something like a torch from your phone, or maybe a lamp, and we're going to shine it from one side of your objects. And I just want to figure out, where do I actually want my shadows to be? I've got lots of control here, so where am I going to draw the shadows coming from? If I draw that from the front, there's not going to be much tone there. So I think I'm ready to start adding tone. Remember that we're going to do one object at a time, never just go over the whole thing in grey, so it'll look awful. And we're going to start off with a mid-tone, which is your medium tone. I said this in the last video as well. Then we'll go in and add some more pressure for dark areas, and we'll also use rubber for light areas. I'm going to aim for a minimum of 4 different tones, okay? So that's pure white, pure black, where I'll be pressing down really, really, really hard, a dark grey and a light grey. And you can either use your finger or a tissue, or I find that cotton wool buds work really well as well. So I've got a really nice mid-tone grey there, and looking at my objects I can see that this side is the lightest side. Now, is it as bright white as this tone here? No. So we're only going to lighten it slightly. My rubber's quite dirty, so I'm just going to use a scrap piece of paper or the corner of my page to clean it. And then I'm going to use my rubber to lighten it. So you can use your rubber to draw with, it's not just for rubbing out mistakes. Now we need to add in our darker tones, which are around this side. So, again, I'm going to build up the tone gradually. I'm not going to press down hard because that's too dark. There's no part of this mug that I can see that is pure black. So I'm going to build up the tone gradually. I'm still not happy with the highlights on this side. I'm going to find a different rubber that isn't as bad as this terrible thing and see if I can add them in. Now I need to focus on the inside of the mug. So I know that the side of my mug it's flat, whereas the inside I want to show that it's curved and it's curving away from me. So I'm going to change the direction of my shading now. Again, we're just doing that grey mid-tone all over. And again, I'm going to use my cotton wool bud to smudge it.